Hey, good evening, Schultze family. This is Jonathan Wynne, author of Impact Parenting, Raising College-Ready Students. I'm so excited to be with you tonight. Unfortunately, I'm not able to be with you personally because right now I'm boarding a plane for Phoenix, Arizona. However, I definitely wanted to greet you and make sure that I leave a message with you about parenting and what it means to be an impact parent. The title of this book, Impact Parenting, Raising College-Ready Students, is born from an acronym that I use to teach parents, which I've been doing for the last 25 years, teaching parents about some of the elements and principles of being a great parent and making a serious impact in the life of your children. The I stands for investment. Uh, Becoming a great parent is not something that's going to happen by accident. It takes a literal investment of your time and your resources, your thoughts, your heart, your ideas. And then the M stands for management. And no matter what it is we're trying to do in life, you have to have particular management skills. And our children are depending on us to be able to manage the issues that surround their development. So whether it's something as simple as signing permission slips and turning papers in on time, making sure that their shot records are up to date, all of those kind of things are part of the management aspect of being an impact parent. Also, you have to have presence, which is what the P gives us, presence. In other words, you have to be more than just there physically. You have to be present mentally. In other words, you have to have your whole mind zeroed in, zoomed in with a laser-like focus about everything that concerns the education and development of your student. And then the A stands for advocacy. There is absolutely nothing wrong with advocating for your child. You must be your child's advocate. If you don't speak up for your child, who will? So that is the role and the privilege of being a parent, is that we get to advocate, not to make excuses for our children, but to advocate and make sure that the things that they deserve, that they are able to receive. In other words, they need to receive the education that they deserve. We want to make sure our children's education is on par with children from every other community in America and across the world. The C stands for coaching. Yes, you're a parent, but there are certain skills and talents that coaches have that parents must have. I spent 18 years as a Detroit Public Schools basketball coach, and I can tell you some of the skills that coaches have. Parents, we need to adopt those things. I personally, my wife and I, we raised 4 children, all of whom have graduated from college, and some have gone on to graduate school and done great things. So I have walked this walk with you. But you have to be a coach. A coach has something that is very special. You see, a coach can get people to do things they don't necessarily feel like doing, because coaches have the ability to keep players looking at the future impact, the future progress, the future development of what it is they're striving for. And so it's important that as a parent, we're able to cast forward the vision that we have for our children and keep them motivated to keep working hard, to keep developing, and to keep pushing toward that ultimate goal and getting that victory of receiving their quality education and moving on to higher learning. The T stands for thoughtfulness. This is a very important aspect of being an impact parent. We have to be thoughtful in the things that we do. In other words, there is nothing that parents can do haphazardly and just hope for a good result. A thoughtful parent gives consideration to things like how it feels for my child to be my child. In other words, we have to give consideration and have empathy for what our children are experiencing. We have to be thoughtful in how we represent our children when we're coming in and out of the school, in the community, what our relationship feels like. And so if we put it all together, the IMPACT, we can become impact parents. And that's what this book is. And so we're so awesomely grateful that Principal Kemp has made arrangements for you to receive this book. And I want to encourage you to don't just put it on your shelf, but open this book and dig in there. There are nuggets of gold in there that I believe will help you. There are things that have helped me, and I have been helping families since 1992 to develop college-ready students. Some of the things I want you to look for, some of the chapters in particular, I want you to look for, number one, the chapter on learning how to love. See, I believe all parents love their children, but we may not all have the best strategies of knowing how to demonstrate the love that we have for our children. So look for some tips and insight into that in the early chapters of the book. Future casting. You have to be able to help your children to harness their dreams and put it into a systematic way of going for it. So there are some exercises in there that you can engage in, not just with you, but with your child and with your family, because it takes the entire village to raise a child. But my concern is that it begins in the hut. In other words, it begins in the home. And so we want to look at another chapter you want to focus in on, the chapter on educational leadership at home, where I share with you some insight on how to lead educationally at home. You see, we have Principal Kemp and Assistant Principal Hockenhull and all the great educators here at Schultze to lead at school. But you must be your child's educational leader at home. And so I give you some insight as to how to make that happen, how to play that role. You don't have to be a scholar. You don't have to have matriculated all the way through college in order to be an educational leader at home. My own father had only a third grade education, but he insisted that we would be educated and that education was important. He was an educational leader. In fact, my dad and I were in 5th grade at the same time because he decided to go back and pick up his education and come back and go to school. And so we were in 5th grade at the same time. But he demonstrated that education was important for me by showing that it was important to him. And so another chapter I want you to focus in on is learning how to support education at school. Don't miss that chapter. I give you some insight on how to come into the school, how to ask for help, who to talk to. I even explain the various roles, the different types of counselors and social workers. What is the difference? What do they do? What do they provide? So that you don't waste time talking to the wrong people. And so these are all tips that you'll find in the book. And then finally, dig into the chapter on what it means to be college ready. Far too many of our young people enter college, and it's a great accomplishment to graduate from high school and start college. But the goal is not to start college, the goal is to finish college. So in this book, I'm focusing in on what it means to be college ready. College ready, that means that when you hit the campus, you're not taking remedial classes. Far too many of our young people, they get to the campus and they're not prepared for college, and so they spend their college dollars taking sub-freshman level college courses. And after about a year and a half, those students inevitably end up back at home because they've run out of money and they feel defeated and discouraged. But we want to get ahead of the game. So thank you for coming out tonight and being a part of this great parent event. And I want to thank Principal Kemp, Principal Hockenhull, the entire Schultze School family for allowing me to be a part of it. I love this school. In fact, my wife is an alum of the great Schultze Elementary School. So how could I not love Schultze? Well, that's the time I have for now. I wanted to make sure that even though I'm not able to be with you tonight, I want you to know that I'm with you in spirit. And so may God bless you and thank you. Remember, you don't have to change your dream, but you might have to change your strategy.